The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors.
Hello, and welcome to About Town. I'm your host, Sarah Luchsinger, and today I have Matt Pfeiffer. Matt Pfeiffer, how are you doing?
Hola, señorita, and muy bueno.
I know about 25 words in Spanish, and 20 of them are numbers. So I know what you said, but I'm not going to respond in Spanish.
I know about 25 as well, and 20 of them are swear words. So you got all my non-swear word Spanish
Perfect.
just now.
So you are the owner of Northern Wholesale Flooring, correct?
That is correct.
And you are also, just one of the most popular. Everybody knows who you are, in downtown Lake Orion and Lake Orion in general. So, but we're going to back up just a little bit. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a little town in the Midwest called Lake Orion.
Oh, where's that?
It's actually quite near here. You'd be surprised.
So you are a lifer here.
I did move away for a while, but once I had children and they were getting to school age, I brought them back and came back to Orion to raise them. And so I've been here most of my life,
Gotcha.
other than a little break in between.
So when did that break occur?
That break occurred, I graduated from Orion High School, Lake Orion High School, as we call it, back in 1987. And I went away to Western Michigan for a year. Came back, rented an apartment over off of Baldwin called Sycamore Creek Apartments, which are still there.
Okay.
And I was there for 1 year, and then I went to Rochester and was out of Lake Orion for quite a few years. So from when I was 18 till came back when I was, early 30s, came back to the Orion area.
Gotcha. And you, like I mentioned, own Northern Wholesale Flooring. So what made you want to start a flooring business?
Well, actually, I didn't start Northern Flooring. I bought Northern Flooring back in 2003. I grew up in a family that was in the flooring industry. They were manufacturers representatives, which is what I started out doing after college. And I did that up until I bought Northern in really the beginning of the 2004s when I started operating. And I've had it ever since.
So prior to opening Northern Flooring, give us a little elevator speech of your work history.
Work history specifically, because I had a lot of adventures in that period. But work history-wise, I was a manufacturer's rep. I worked for my family's company for a year, and then I hired on to a large carpet manufacturer out of Georgia, and I was an a direct rep for them for about 3 years. And then I took a hiatus, and I went and traveled the world.
Okay, so tell us about that.
From
what you can tell us.
So many stories. I had sold. I was doing quite well. I bought my first house in Royal Oak during that period, that 3 years. So I was 19 when I bought the house, and I was doing quite well. I sold Kmart World Headquarters, all the carpeting for the whole headquarters. I sold University of Michigan.
In Troy?
In Troy. I sold University of Michigan in both Flint and Ann Arbor, a ton of these carpet tiles. The problem was the manufacturer I was working for was new to the carpet tile industry. They were a broadloom manufacturer, and they decided to make tile. I went in and was able to secure these sales, which were worth millions of dollars in revenue and hundreds of thousands to me back in that era, which was a ton. And unfortunately, they weren't as ready as they said they were. So after those orders, it took me about a year to win the orders. As they started shipping, they started having manufacturing issues. And I got a call from my boss one day. I remember it like it was yesterday. And he said, are you sitting down? And I said, okay, what's wrong with Kmart? 'Cause that was my big baby. And he said, we're having manufacturing issues. We cannot complete the orders. And you're going to have to go back to University of Michigan and to Kmart, and you're going to have to undo those contracts and try and sell them broadloom carpet, which was ridiculous. Broadloom If you don't know, that's just wide, 12-foot wide or wider carpet made on a broad loom. And
That makes sense.
carpet tiles became very popular because a lot of systems furniture, especially in that era. And so you could lift the systems furniture up and you could install underneath it, set them back down without having to dismantle them, take them all apart. So that was a very big deal. At any rate, they were having manufacturing issues that cost me, upwards of not quite a couple $100,000 in
Mhm.
commissions that I didn't get. And so that's when I made a decision to change my direction, and I started planning a trip. And I didn't grow up in a family of travelers, but I bought a one-way ticket to Europe, and the deal was it was $120 for a one-way ticket, and I had to agree to 3 cities I'd fly out of, which I picked Detroit, Chicago, and the other one was in Wisconsin, I think Milwaukee or something. And then I had to pick 3 cities in Europe that I would land in that I was okay with, and I picked it was Paris, it was Amsterdam, and it was I'm not sure what the third one was. Going back quite a while, my memory isn't the best. And so I got a call one day, and they said, okay, you're flying out in 3 days. You got to be in Chicago. And so I went to Chicago. I called my boss. I resigned the position. I had rented out my house at that point, and I flew to Paris. Is where I ended up going on that first stop, and I had a backpack and a Eurail pass, and thought I'd go for in fact, I had a girlfriend when I went. Thought I might go for a month or two and see what it's like, and that trip lasted a year. I went, ended up going all the way around the world, and had quite a lot of adventures. It was actually a little more than a year. I was about 38 countries on that one trip. Um,
That's a lot.
yeah, just one of the best things I've ever done in my life. So one of my lessons I try to teach my kids, or when I see people down and talk to them about, is sometimes at that time that was the worst thing that had ever happened to me in my life, and I had some pretty tough things, I'd say, at that point, but that was one of the worst. We'll say that. And looking back, I am so thankful that it happened to me. It was the best thing that happened to me, losing those sales, losing that money. And I found my real passion, which is travel. And besides, community and family. So I've had the travel bug ever since. And that led to other adventures and other trips. And yeah, it's been a good run.
My grandparents were big travelers, and then I, try to get my husband and I out of Michigan or out of the country every year. Of course, the past year has been difficult, but my nanny, my paternal grandmother, uh, told me once when I was really little, travel's not a luxury; it's an education, and that has stuck with me ever since. So I am also a huge traveler. Maybe one day we can go, I don't know, hike some mountains out in Europe
I love
somewhere.
it. I do like hiking as well.
I've
So
always wanted to do the Machu Picchu trail.
yeah, in fact, well, Chris Barnett's just flying back today from there,
Yeah.
and I was down close to there a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago now. I was in Colombia, but yeah, there's not a country that I've been to or a city that I didn't love in some way or another. There's
Mhm.
some I love more than others. Travel is it's just amazing. I love to go out and meet people. I love to get off the beaten trail. I do go see some of the tourist sites in the big countries and cities, but I love to go find the locals and hang out where they hang out, go to their bars, go to their restaurants, their groceries, their beaches, whatever. And boy, you're right. It's a true education. You learn more about the world, and I would say, as cheesy as it may sound, yourself, as you go and explore. You get to kind of change your perspective a bit.
Well, when you start talking to people from other countries and seeing how other people live, you realize that you're not as different as the news or as, you know, borders or anything try to make it look or make you feel. I feel like when you start talking to other people, I lived over in Edinburgh for
Oh,
a term.
loved Edinburgh.
Yeah, yeah.
And wow, what great bars! They had those underground bars which were old horse paddocks underneath. And then I remember like 3 in the morning after maybe a few pub visits, laying and looking up at Edinburgh Castle, which is lit up so beautifully, and just laying there. And that was fairly early in that first trip, maybe a month or so in, and just kind of go, wow, this is unbelievable. It was, yeah, Edinburgh's quite a place.
Oh yeah, and the it's one I talked about this last week too with Ken Van Porfley, but it's one of the top
Oh,
10
that
places.
must have been an exciting interview. Just kidding, Ken. I love Kenny.
It was actually. It was one of the top. Edinburgh's one of the top 10 places to go for New Year's. So we
I've
went.
never
Yeah,
would have thought that.
and we ended up meeting up with some Australians. They were around our age, a little younger. Oh my God, they can. This couple could party. We were out till like 4 a.m.
Oh, I love the Aussies. Yeah.
But behind the castle were the fireworks. So you're standing on Princess Street and then looking at the castle, and all of a sudden it looks like it's exploding, but it's just amazing. I have a video. I'll try to find it and show you some other time. But I'm not going to just go grab it and like scroll right now.
No,
It's
would you
too far.
please?
Yeah.
'Cause, I
You
mean,
know what?
I'll try and fill the time.
Hold on, guys.
I might be able to come up with a little bit to say. I those kinds of memories. I have a horrible memory with a lot of things. Like I run into, I do feel like I know a lot of people around town, but in all
I'm
honesty,
Sarah.
I won't thank you because I didn't want to embarrass myself again. I tell people when I meet them, I said, listen, I'm going to forget your name, and I'm not saying that because I'm proud of it. I'm just saying it because I'm an idiot. I will not remember your name, and it'll take me, 5, 6, 7 times of running India, probably hanging out before that starts sinking in. And but what I do remember, and I have, I remember tragedies real clearly that have happened. I remember, days like they were yesterday. Like I can just see them. You can see. I don't. Well, yeah, you can see him. Yeah. Anyway,
You can see him remembering right now.
I forget that there's a camera sometimes there. But I remember those experiences from travel
Mhm.
and the way that you felt in those times. The people, the way. I have so many incredible memories from travel, and it's another gift from it because somebody who doesn't remember maybe a lot of details sometimes. Those are my. They're just always there, and they're always a part. They're part of who I am, and I'm sure you and any of us that share that passion.
Yep. And you're right. I don't remember names, and I don't remember a lot of things that mundane things, but travel, yes, and experiences, yes. Okay, so let's move on because we could have probably
I
a whole
apologize. Yeah.
whole pot. No, I am doing this for the viewers, not so much for the podcast. But we're gonna move on. You mentioned that you have some kids, and I've met Liam.
Yes.
Such a nice guy, just such a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
And
Or
you have
young adult.
young adult, yes.
22.
Wow.
My daughter's 21. Paris.
Paris.
Spoke to her this morning. We FaceTime periodically. She's in nursing school and just loving it. So that's super cool.
Yeah, congratulations to her.
Yeah.
And what's Liam up to?
Liam is he's a full-time employee at Northern Wholesale Flooring, and I tried to keep him away from the business. He's still in school. In fact, he's going to get his associates this summer. He's like 2 classes away from that. But the more I wanted to keep him away from the business because first of all, retail's changing, and it's not changing for the better. Retail is something that our society is starting to look past, and with the tech world and buying things on computer and big box stores and all that have kind of taken over. So I've tried to keep them away from it up until I made the adjustments in the business model and did the move, and then I kind of brought him in full time, and we couldn't do it without him at this point. So he's working with us full time and finishing up school, and he's been looking at houses, which if you know anything about the market right now, that's not going great for him for an entry level house. So,
Right. I had Tracy Woodrum on a couple weeks ago, and
she's such a sweetheart. Love her. And I heard Tea with Tuesday or Tea with
Tracy.
Tracy
yeah.
on Tuesday. Yeah, I've done one of those. She wants. We've talked about me going back and doing that. She's a sweetheart and a lot of fun. She's a good girl.
So you are also very, very involved with the community. You do Real Men of Orion. You do today I asked if you would be on this podcast, and you're like, well, what time is it? Because if it's in the morning, I'm delivering food this morning. And I was like, no, it's that one. And you made it work. But so tell us first tell us about the food delivery that you do.
Well, most of what I do with the food truck is not delivery. It's loading cars, and I kind of help Julie Dalrymple and John Delkey kind of run things there, and I kind of help them and fill in. Yeah, we've done that. I think as a group or as a community, I think we're at about 56 or 58 weeks of Forgotten Harvest food truck. Originally, it was starting in one parking lot. Now we do it at Woodside, and people line up every Monday. And it's no questions asked. If you need help with food, or if your neighbors, family, friends do, it's no questions. I mean, they ask, how many families you're picking up for, and
Mm.
your basics. But and then we load them up with food, and so I do that, and then Julia specifically delivers. We have quite a few community members that will deliver to multiple families, and so I deliver when there's families that need it. People reach out to me and ask me to go. I did last week. I had some. This week I didn't have any. Yeah, it's kind of humbling to see all types of people from all areas within our area that come and line up every week to get food to help feed their family. And so love being a part of it. And it's, good camaraderie. A bunch of volunteers do that. And so that's every Monday. If anybody needs food, 9 a.m. Mondays, you should line up a little earlier than that if you want to get through it quick. And just bring your car. And if you have neighbors or other families you want to pick up for, you can do that at the same time. And we'll get you set up with quite a bit of food. It's pretty awesome and sometimes interesting. We all get excited. We see today they had bacon stuffed waffles. They had bacon and cheese in them, which I'm a kind of a weird eater. I'm a vegan these days, so I don't eat that. But they look darn good, and everybody was like, "Oh, these look good." And there's cookies today. What else do we have? We have peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes. We have these dry boxes with all kinds of dry goods in them. We had milk, eggs. There was peppers, hot peppers. So just kind of a wide variety of foods. And yeah, we load people up and they just keep driving. Although today I did get run over on my foot. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
just
It's okay though. I didn't break anything. It was the first time for me. It's our second foot run over since in 55 weeks. That's pretty good when you
yeah,
think about.
that's decent.
Yeah, it's not bad. So
Do
yeah,
you have like the sign so many days since our last accident?
yeah, I probably am the biggest cause for that sign having to be reset on a regular basis, but
Okay, so you threw in the vegan. We'll get to that because I actually have a question for you about that regarding beeswax. So start thinking about that, but also answer. Give us a little bit of a background on. I keep on saying the Real Men of Lake Orion, but it's the Real Men of Orion.
yeah. So the other charities, I've been pretty heavily involved, I'd say, in community and charity since the founding of my business. Before that, I did different things, but I'm just hugely proud to be from this community, and I love our community. I do think we have one of the best communities on the planet, and I really do.
And he's been places. He's
Yeah,
seen things.
I have, and and I still want to go see places, but this is home, and this will always be my home. Really, I realized a long time ago how easy it is to help,
Mhm.
and some of the first things I did were somebody went to school with their daughter had leukemia. She needed they needed help, and
Mhm.
they were living on subfloors. They didn't even have flooring in their home, so that was one of the first things when I first bought the store that we did. And there was a whole movement that came around that to help. Unfortunately, the young girl passed away before we could get the makeover done, which we still did it after. And that one, and one of the first ones also was packages for the troops. I worked with the Plower family, which is a wonderful, wonderful family here in Orion, and there's thousands of them, it seems like. And they lost Raymond Plower in the war in Iraq, and he was killed by a roadside bomb. And so in honor of Raymond, we did packages for the troops we did that for about 6 or 7 years. And we would pack up at Northern, we'd do the drop-offs, we'd raise money. And then we had soldiers serving, even friends of Raymond's that were still in country serving overseas. And they were involved. Like we had one year, his name's going to escape me, and I'm sorry because he doesn't live in Michigan, but I know he tunes into Orion stuff. But he actually delivered in a Santa Claus suit to the troops on the front lines our packages, and we put notes honoring Raymond in all those packages because we're really trying to keep Raymond's memory alive.
Mhm.
And the family was just I get goosebumps whenever I talk about it because just amazing people. And so we did that, and that was pretty easy for me to do, quite frankly. Some of this, I just said, hey, well, how about if I start talking about it on social media, which I do a little bit, if any of you follow me.
You have quite a
Um,
following.
yeah. And so we just started doing that, and we sent thousands and thousands of packages. In fact, it came to the point where the post office would come to us to pick up our packages on a Sunday so that we could process it better. So that was incredible, and then it just led to other things. Real Men, you asked about.
Hmm.
So Real Men Wear Pink is a national charity. It's through the American Cancer Society and through their Making Strides division, and the focus is on breast cancer.
Hmm.
And so October is Breast Cancer Month, and that's the month where we really try to raise the profile of the disease to make sure people understand it, so that women get checked, men get checked, because it does hit both women and men. Obviously, much more women, and then we raise money to help those families fighting it. And I'll be honest, it was one of my initial gut was to say no to that one when they asked me. The Cancer Society came to me because they saw that I'm involved in the community, and they wanted to do Oakland County, which
Hmm.
it was going to be new to Oakland County, which it was 5 years ago. So we've done it 5 years, and the reason I said no is quite frankly, I have my concerns about big charity. Big charity to me is a lot of money does get used for overhead and for those things, and so I kind of have these mixed feelings about it. But after doing it the first year, which I said yes to, and I won the first year, I was the biggest fundraiser in Oakland County, which was kind of cool.
That's not very
We've had
surprising.
a couple of those since. But the After going through that process, and so many people came up to me and told me their story and how the Cancer Society and our efforts directly helped them as they were battling or as their family was battling the cancer. That it kind of brought me in the fold and said, "All right, this is going to be my one big charity thing." I try to everything else I try to do is I know that everything I raise or that is part of it goes to the people, and that's where food truck or the shoe thing we're doing right now, or the coat and drive and food drive, those things that you guys see me do, those are all right here for our community, and they're very tangible. There's no overhead in those. It's just grassroots people helping their neighbors.
What's the shoe thing? I love shoes, so that caught my attention.
Well, so somebody, one of the great things when you do kind of what I do is people reach out to you
Hmm.
and they say, "Hey, can you help?" And I say yes most of the time. I did just say no to Dancing with the Stars or something, but I said maybe next year.
Like the
Um,
the the
I'm a horrible dancer, and I knew it was going to take a lot of time. And I had the trip to Columbia coming up. I just didn't. If I was going to do it, I better learn how to freaking dance, and I can't dance. So that is not a strength of mine. I mean, I get a few drinks in me, I might think I can dance, but I cannot dance. I've seen those videos, and if anybody has them, do not share them. So
actually, please do. There might be a reward involved with that. Uh, okay, I'm sorry. So the shoe thing.
The shoe thing. So the shoe thing, the way somebody reached out to me, basically the way it works is people have been donating shoes to and dropping them at different businesses. We've had Bill Kokinis has picked up I think three huge loads from me now, and we've got one more. We're doing it till the end of the month, so it'll be pretty quick by the time this is out or whatever. But the shoes that are donated go to a charity that pays for the shoes. That money that they pay goes to scholarships at Lake Orion High School, so
Hmm.
that's cool. And then the shoes actually get sold very inexpensively, and that's where the money transfers to entrepreneurs in third world countries that create businesses by selling those shoes. So we're looking for gently used or new.
I'm actually writing this down because I will drop off some shoes for you.
Awesome. I
Um,
appreciate it. Yeah, just during the northern hours, or a lot of people leave them outside the door if it's when we're not open. And we've been pretty successful in it. It's been kind of cool. So it's a double. My favorite charities are ones where there's multiple winners in it. And with that one, you've got we're helping people overseas. We're helping our high school kids, and we're
See,
helping
I'm
you
I'm
guys clean
literally
out your
writing my
closets.
I'm literally writing down drop off shoes.
I believe that's what it says, although I honestly can't read it from here. Between my eyes and your, I don't cursive. Who writes in cursive
It's
anymore?
not cursive. It's just
Oh, well, it
it's
sure as hell looks like
it's
cursive.
chicken scratch.
Yeah, well, it's much clearer than mine, so it's a good thing it's you writing, not me.
Okay, so it goes local. Goes the proceeds from most of the organizations it seems that you're involved in help out locally, and then also have a bigger um, spectrum too. They help.
It depends on the charity.
Yeah.
And then some of these things are just, somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, I've got a family." We've done a lot of Detroit families for Christmas the last few years, and they were pretty sad stories. And I put the word out, and we were able to fill some freezers and get people get gifts, like fill actual gift lists for kids that I went down and with my kids, and we took stuff to these homes. And eh, we're very blessed. If you live here in Orion, if you live here in our country, you're one of the luckiest 5% on the planet, or 10%, depending on your perspective. And if you live in our area of Michigan, you are again in a very, very high. We're lucky people, and so you go and you see how people in our own area, within miles of us, or 50 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, how they're living. It's always humbling, and it always is. It's a motivator. And
Mhm.
when you see the faces of the beneficiaries, I mean, I've gotten the best hugs I ever get are from people we're helping. One of my favorite stories, sorry, I'm all over the place, but was Q, Quintavia, I think, but we called her Q. So we were helping Q's family because they were dealing with some challenges, and she was in her like 21, and she had a baby, but she had to take care of her 8 or 9 siblings because there were no parents there for a while that were able to help. And they had nothing for Christmas. We got them a Christmas tree, gifts, all that, and it was awesome. And the community, again, it was all of you that rallied to help. I'm more of a voice and try to bring people the resources together and to make sure these things happen. So we helped them get through that and made a huge difference to this family. Even today, the family is in a lot better place than they were, and Q will say that. But then Q came out when we were doing Real Men of Orion,
Mhm.
and I didn't give you that description, but Real Men of Orion, Real Men Wear Pink. In front of my store, I was doing the chair where I'd camp out for a day or two or whatever. And year before last, we had a huge party out. We had Mike Leslie from Candlebox was jamming with us in the pink chair. We had a bunch of other musicians out there. We were up till 4 in the morning. We had a bar set up. Sorry.
You're partying like Aussies
Sorry,
now.
Toth, and yeah. Well, I lived down there for a little bit too. That's a fun little country. She's teaching us how to line dance at 3 in the morning out in front of the old Northern building, which I sold to Beaumont. And she's teaching us line dancing, and just it was because she was in such a better place and life was good, and it just kind of it's awesome. You make connections, yeah, I feel very lucky, and that's why I believe it's our responsibility as businesses and as community members to give back to those around us that need help. And quite frankly, there's a lot of businesses I frequent and support, and you see me support on social media. And I'm kind of picky how I do that too. And some people ask me, "Oh, why don't you ever come to our place, whatever?" And I don't want it to ever come off the wrong way, but my belief is I'm going to support the businesses that I see giving back to our community, because I think as a business owner, that's our responsibility. The community gives us whatever I've been able to do to put my kids in college and buy a home and have a good life is because of my community. And so if I see a business that isn't giving back, and I try to reach out to all of them, and I
Mhm.
probably reached out to every business at least once to ask. And if they say no, or, we don't do that, then I don't bug them again. But then you'll see the ones that I'm hanging out at are the ones that support almost everything that I bring in, or that support their own efforts to help and give back. And I just think that's how I'm not a big believer. I know you and I have talked a little bit about this stuff. I'm not a big believer in big government. I'm a believer in community helping itself, and that's our responsibility. And I think we do it way better than government. The money doesn't line the pockets of the politicians and the lobbyists. It stays right here, and it goes to help those in our community. And so those are the businesses I support. Those are, and that's kind of how I think we make a better community. And I think that's why our community is so great, because so many of our businesses do give back
Yeah.
and stay involved.
I would agree with you. There's always something going on, and it's people like you who make it very easy to get involved and be able to give back. So thank you for that. I remember when I first opened, within the first couple months, you came in and introduced yourself to me, and I'll never forget that. It's there's certain times when you start a business and you open your doors for the first time. There's things that you do actually remember that are important. And then, there were a couple people who came in and you were one of the first, and you introduced yourself to me, and you were talking, um, about downtown, if I needed any help, if, gave me your number, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't know who you were at that point because
Probably just thought I was a freak. Who's this
no, no, no,
weirdo?
no, no,
Call the
because I
cops
had
real
gone to
quick.
Northern. We went to Northern Flooring to look at some flooring options before, so I knew who you were. But I wasn't really part of downtown before when I was working in Livonia and St. Clair Shores. I was commuting 3 hours a day. I wasn't going, and on the weekends I'd still be working, but so I didn't really know a lot of people downtown. And I remember going over to Nuts About Chocolate and talking to Tina. I'm like, who's this Matt Pfeiffer guy? He seems really nice. She's like, oh, Matt Pfeiffer. And then she filled me in. So, and then, it just seemed
She's a
like
sweetheart.
everyone knew who you were. And I started to get on the Matt Pfeiffer train. But I remember,
Thank you.
so I was, my shop was next to Wine Social for the first year and a half.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it looks gorgeous. They did a fantastic reno in there.
Oh, did they? I
Yeah.
don't know if I've been by there since.
Yeah, you should probably go check it out. Yeah.
Maybe.
But I remember after closing up one day, Brad, my husband, and I went over and we were sitting on the deck. This is before they renovated the deck. And you were wearing all pink. And I did not know about,
That was a sight.
sneakers, pants, shirt, hat. And no one else at the table was wearing pink. I forgot who you were with, but I think you were waiting for people to come. And I just looked at Brad. I'm like, "What? That's Matt Pfeiffer. I want to introduce you, but I don't know what he's wearing. I don't get the outfit." It took like me a week. So for a week, I thought that's just how you dressed.
Yeah, very flamboyant.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh," and then I found out that it was actually for the real men wear pink.
It's a
So
really good vodka, by the way.
yeah, I bought it special for you. Yeah, but anyway, so now is time to. Oh wait, before I ask you the 3 random questions, you're vegan. What do you feel? What are your thoughts on beeswax?
What's that?
Apparently, there's a big debate about whether or not beeswax can be considered vegan, or it's. I think the default is that it's not considered vegan.
All right. Well, I don't really. I'm not. When people ask me about the whole vegan thing, it's newer. I mean, I guess 7, 8, 9 months now, so it still seems new to me.
Mhm.
And I say that I'm not a principled vegan, and I only say that because I didn't become vegan because I wanted to save the planet or because I wanted to save animals. I did it because I wanted to improve my health. That was the original thought. Now I will say, and I used to, by the way, I used to make fun of vegans. I mean, I'm a meat eater, man. What are you kidding me? That's why meat's here. I will say that I've changed a bit. I watched Seaspiracy. If you haven't seen that, I think I'm saying it right, but it's on Netflix, and it's not going to make you feel happy. But I watched that. Joe and I were talking about the octopus, my best friend, the octopus, or whatever. I think that's what it's called. I guess
Octopus teacher.
yeah, and I watched that, and you start seeing things like that, and but the Seaspiracy, it's hard not to question the other stuff. So I'm an admitted pretty conservative person fiscally and defense wise. Socially, I'm liberal, and
I don't get that one from you. No.
no, yeah, I think we're free people. We should be able to do what we want. I'm sometimes conflicted as to why. So at any rate, like if I go on vacation, I was down in Colombia, and they have a lot of great seafood down there, and I ate seafood while I was there. Every once in a while, I'll have a little cheese on a pizza or something. So I'm not like, but yeah, I try to. It's very rare. I like it. I feel better. I'm healthier. I don't think that's
Good.
what you asked, and I don't have an opinion on the beeswax thing. I don't know. I guess I'll have to think about it. I don't think I would have to know, I guess, if I really wanted to make a decision on how I feel about it. Are the bees harmed by us taking the wax? Bees are important to our country, to the planet, and to the world, which is the planet. So that's redundant. And so if there was something that showed me that it was a hindrance to that, that might make me think, okay, well, that's something I would avoid too.
Mhm.
But at the same token, I'm not going to judge anybody for what they do. That's not my place, and I still don't know I don't know if I'm going to be a vegan forever. Although I thought it was going to be really hard, and I have to say, it's really not that difficult. And it's not like work. And I've gotten a little looser in terms of some of the things. Like I wasn't eating oil at the beginning, and that kind of got vegetable oil, not meat oil. That's a thing.
Oh,
But at any rate, so yeah, that's what I do eating wise now. And beeswax, I don't know.
so are there a
Did I,
lot
did,
of booze that you can drink? I know that some wines might not be vegan. I have a friend who's
I
vegan
just
for all the reasons why you said you weren't a vegan. She's a vegan for those
okay.
reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I drink whatever alcohol that I feel like drinking, and I didn't really tie any of it to animals. So now I'm gonna have to start thinking that through. I mean, usually for me it's vodka, tequila, which I know those come from plant. I don't think they're using animals
But
to
the
make them.
tequila has a little worm in there to.
Not the ones I've had, although,
Okay.
I probably that wouldn't freak me out either, way.
Mhm.
But I haven't found any with worms. I haven't looked for it.
Well,
And
it would be
some
really
wine
bad
and
if they
beer.
said it wasn't supposed to have a worm in it, and it did have a worm.
Well, see, to me, that would actually be that would be more intriguing. I'd probably want that one.
Ugh, I can't drink tequila anymore anyway. So,
No.
Ugh.
Okay, we'll just leave that there
Yeah, I think we should. Okay.
then.
By the way, thanks for being on.
Thanks for what?
Being on today.
Oh well, you're
Oh,
welcome.
great.
Anytime.
So
What
now,
what is this? Are we gonna play cards?
yes, 52 pickup.
Yeah, I'm not a good participant in that. I'd love to watch you fling them around, but you're on your own after that.
So this part of the interview, I pick out 3 random questions for you, and then I'll let you I'll pick one out and let you read, and I'll answer one as
Oh,
a thank you for being a participant with the random questions.
that's the thank you. Is you
Yes,
answering a random question?
I
Do
will
I get
answer
to
it.
pick that one?
Yes, but I will pick out 3, and
It's quite a process.
I know I'm like,
Feel like this is legit. Like you guys, I don't think she thought these through or is trying to trick me in any way, unless she has little bumps on them or something and she can feel them. I don't know.
I have little notes that say like if they're a serious question or a neutral question or
I
a
hope
truly random
super
question.
serious. I hope.
Super serious.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of life?
Oh wow.
No, that's not one of them. Don't answer that one. That's not one
I
of them.
will answer it. Might take me a few minutes, but
Well, think about it.
but there's no answers that don't take me at least a few minutes. I've
Right.
noticed.
That's okay. We got all the time in the world. All right. So, random question number 1 for you.
Good.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever received. I'm trying to, as I mentioned, the bad memory thing. So I'm trying to remember something truly specific.
It doesn't have to be the best, but the one that comes to mind quickly.
I think that nothing, as you can tell, nothing comes to mind quickly.
Well, you gave really good advice to your kids.
That's the best advice I've given because I
Yeah.
think it's so important for all of us. I think I know I've heard this from people, and I can't think of specifically who, but to live.
Mhm.
I am. I believe in living every day, and I try to remind myself, and I love being reminded of it. And sometimes it's things that happen. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's the tragedies, which we've had a couple that I know you and I have talked about recently in our community. And when those things happen, that to me is somebody giving me advice, saying, "What are you doing? Where are you at in your life? Are you if you died today? Not that I want to, but would you be happy with what you're doing, where you're at?" And I try to keep that in mind every day. I try to really make sure that that I'm focused on experiences, on helping others, and trying to make a difference, and to set a good example, so that and I do that, but I'm a bit of a train wreck. I mean, I'm an open book. I'm brutally honest, and I I am glad that I'm like that, but it's not always easy.
So you actually tell the truth when somebody asks you, "Does my butt look good in these jeans?"
Well, um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I do, but I mean, you might read something. No, I'll say it. I might not say it as directly as yes. I might say, you know what? I think those jeans are perfect on you.
Or mm,
Yeah.
maybe we should try a different size on.
So, but in general, I just don't. I just like to be. I think authentic is a word that I like. That's probably overused. But I try to be that. I try to be what I say and who I say I am. I don't know who I say I am, but I try to just be real and live my damn life the way I feel is the right way. And I don't really care a whole lot about what people think. And that served me pretty well.
That's something I'm learning with age. To start doing what you think is right and stop caring so much about what other people think.
Yeah.
That's a hard lesson to learn. It's a hard place to like get to.
It is, but boy, what better example to set for your kids? Number one, and what better way to truly be true to yourself? I
Hmm.
mean, if we're not behaving or doing exactly what we feel we want to do in a moment, then what the hell are we here for?
Hmm.
Because as you and I know, and as we all know, is none of us are promised tomorrow, and we see that all. I mean, this year has been a really tough reminder of that. But and going through COVID has been a reminder of that. You know, you see people dealing with COVID differently.
Hmm.
Um, and judge me or not, I didn't stop living through COVID. The first couple of weeks I locked down. I don't know if you remember. I opened my business early, saying I disagreed with the governor, and I was right, by the way. And I opened up early, and that was good for my business and good for my family, and I think good for my community. But I'm going to do what I think is right, and I'll deal with those consequences. But um, that's why we're here to live our life, not to live somebody else's.
And just as a really quick off-topic question, not really that off-topic, but have you noticed a lot of people getting flooring and for doing renovations and stuff? I have noticed, my friends have been talking. They're doing a lot of renos at their homes because, well, they're doing home offices and stuff.
Yeah,
Have you noticed a
huge.
big
Our business is extremely strong right now.
good?
And you know, part of it, I mean, I can't tell you how many people come in still and say they came in or are coming to buy from me because they see what we do in the community,
Hmm.
which I love because I think that's the way the world should work. I have a lot of people that have come because they saw that video. It was shared 30,000 times, or it was viewed. It was viewed over 30,000, not shared that many. And a lot of people came in and just said, "We're here because we saw that you took a stand, and we agreed with your stand, and we're here to support you because of it." So business has been extremely good. We changed our business model, and I cut out labor as part of my business model. We still do it, but
Hmm.
I don't make any money on it. So I lowered my revenue by about 38% in doing that, and we haven't missed a beat. It's been incredible, yeah, we're really blessed.
I like the new space too.
Thank
Um,
you. I'm still, we're not. You might see some more tweaking in the near future, but I wanted to cut our overhead. When I sold the building, a lot of people thought I was crazy. Well, retail's changing, and what I found is the best way that I could remain relevant and keep our business as number one flooring store in Oakland County
mhm.
was by changing with the times. You've got to always be reevaluating our lives and our businesses,
Mhm.
and so I had to change the model up, and it was a hard decision, but again, God, so glad I did it. It's been wonderful, and quite frankly, my life's better too. So it's a win-win.
Well, you're always you're the yes, I'll participate. I've done a couple of videos downtown with some of the other
Yeah,
businesses, and
those are fun.
yeah, you are always like game, and I love that. I love that about you,
You
man.
are as well. I love that about you too, Sarah. I'm glad we became friends. And so you remember when I came and talked to you that first time?
Huh?
I was thinking of like Jordan Knudsen, who's now one of my real men. That sounds, real men of Orion. It might sound a little off. And him and I met the same way
Hmm.
when he was opening the store, the first store, which I ended up partnering with him for a while. In the store when he was next to what was Lockhart's, which is now Through and Three, and it's where the Pilates studio is.
Yep.
wonderful people, Lindsay and Greg. So when he did it, I just went up and said, "Hey, new to the neighborhood, love to meet you." And him and I have been friends ever since, and we've worked together a ton and done a lot of charity together. And I just love it. Just makes our community so much stronger when
Hmm.
we all have these connections.
Yeah.
You and I see you out, and we have fun, get little chats here and there, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. We live in an amazing place.
All right. Random
Was that the
question.
question?
Well, I think the answer to that question was the best advice was to live and
Just live.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every day.
All right. Random question number 2. How do you measure success?
Oh, that one's easier. Measuring success is based on how you make people feel, and it's and how you feel.
Hmm.
Life is about experiences. It's not about stuff. So when people measure based on the size of their house, the cost of their car, or their fancy clothes, or their haircut, or whatever,
Hey, hey, hey,
um,
hey, 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 hey.
hey, you look fantastic. But that's one type of measure. It's one I don't agree with. The way you measure success is how you make people feel, how you feel, and how you contribute to society. We're here for a short freaking time, and there's nothing that I would love more than when I'm gone for people to say, "Hey, I made an impact in their lives or in the community," and I think that's the measure.
And I think you've got that going pretty good for you right now.
I don't do it for that because it I get more out of giving back than anybody I've ever given to. I feel I get goosebumps with these kinds of things, but I honestly feel so freaking blessed and lucky um, to be able to do what I do and to live the way I live and to be able to help others and for people to have confidence in me. I get texts and calls every week for people who need help, advice, or who want to give back and are looking for ways to do it. Which part of what I do it draws people in to
Oh,
be a
I know.
part of it.
I've reached out to
You
you for
have
that.
in many
Yeah.
occasions actually. What an awesome feeling. So I just get so much from it that I love to do it, and it's addictive. I want to do more, and I do as much as I can.
That is not a skill set that everybody has. That ability to bring people in. So I do truly believe that if you can, you should, and that's across the board. That's across you. If you can, you should. And I'm so glad that you can and you are.
Well, I appreciate it. I learned early on that at first I kind of was quiet about things I was doing, and I felt I didn't wasn't something you talk about. And I learned, and I don't remember how I learned it, probably just because of the success of when I did talk about things. That the best thing we can do as we're giving back and trying to make a difference is to share that, and it's not sharing it to brag that that's something that look what I'm doing.
Hmm.
You're sharing it to get more people to help so that when I do need help, I instantly have. I mean, there is not one thing that I put out on social media that I need help for that I don't get exactly what I need by doing it. So, but I built that.
Hmm.
That wouldn't have just happened. I built that over time. So that's one great thing about talking about giving back and talking about what you're doing to make a difference. The other is and my goal has always been to try and inspire everybody. If I were to say I have a goal, my goal would be for everybody that I touch in our community and surrounding communities, or even in communities abroad, because I have friends around the world, luckily, um, is if they see things that we're doing and say, wait, we can do that here. And like when I did the gift card thing for the food truck,
Hmm.
remember I was giving away, I was buying gift cards, blah, 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 raising money for that. I had people from other communities and other states saying, hey, I want to do that. How do I do it? I'm like, well, you just go do it. But here, I'll tell you. But how awesome is that?
Yeah.
So talking about it is a good thing because you're inspiring and you're bringing help. And now, yeah, I know that I'm a voice for that. But I use that voice. I'm very I take it extremely seriously. When people give me resources to help others, I take it very seriously to make sure that every penny that's ever brought my way is given to what I say it's going to,
Hmm.
and that's why I think it continues to grow and be this thing where, hey, people, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? As soon as I throw it out there, I love it. It's freaking awesome.
Well, and with the gift cards, I wasn't sure how to. I was trying to figure out how to help out, the businesses and people who were in need. And you posted, get the gift cards and I'll be collecting them. And so I went over to Oat Soda and I was buying some gift cards and I was, when I was trying to buy like $50 gift cards and Jennifer was like, look, $40, they get a whole meal and then they don't have this extra like $10 just sitting around. Are you? And I told them what I was doing it for, and that's why they were telling me all this information. So I was able to get more gift cards, and
Mhm.
then I happened to see you passing Wine Social, and I was able to just get them to you. It was a very small town moment right there, and
It was awesome.
it was great because that's how. And it's just a conversation right now for you. It's a conversation to get people rallied and moving together. And
Yeah, we were over. I don't remember the numbers. I have to look back, but we were over 10 grand. I want to say even maybe 13, 14 in money that went to our local restaurants. And
and
then I
that
got those
happened
gift
because
cards.
you
It
posted
was
and
just an idea. I was trying to buy. It was what some of my friends' restaurants were closed. I'm friends with most of the owners in town, and they were forced to be closed, and they're hurting,
Mhm.
and or they were carry out only, and
Yep,
they were hurting.
yep.
And then I'm working this food truck every day. And I'm like, God, these people, they don't get to go out and eat. They're here lined up for hours sometimes to get food. Like, what if I, raise some money and get some gift cards to local places? And what was super cool about that, and I'm not going to get into the names because I don't remember all of them, but I would say about half of the restaurants would give me a few extra. Some would even double my donation. So I might buy $500 in cards. They'd give me 1,000. And so we got so much mileage out of that because some of the restaurants were doing better during those times. Some of them were really struggling, but even the ones that were really struggling were giving me extras. And then when we gave them out at the, everybody that went through that line was getting
Mhm.
cards, and I went out and kind of did it randomly, and I did it for weeks, and it was just such an amazing. Such a great feeling. People were so thankful. I mean, people in tears going, "Oh my God, I can't believe, we haven't been able to go out to eat or order food out in so long. It's so kind." It was one of those win-win.
Mhm.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, anything we can do that can help on multiple fronts is that's where the money's at. That's the gold, the golden ticket. That's the I don't know. Come up with your own.
Well, and you were the catalyst. You were the idea guy, and you were the catalyst. And you are a very humble and generous guy, and you probably will try to push it off on, oh no, it was the community, but no, that was your idea.
There's nothing that I could do though without the community, and that's what I love is that I might be a voice and I'm a little obnoxious, but um,
Yeah, okay, I
yeah,
can see it.
there's no argument there. But boy, when I because I've got whatever this following or built this up, people trust me to be a good steward. I just dropped a ton of stuff off back at the church because people donated a bunch of extra stuff, and was able to give them just boxes and boxes of goods that they have a little store there for people in need through Woodside. It's just incredible. So I'm so thankful to all of you, to you, our business community. And what I would say is for those businesses that haven't jumped into this yet, it's so easy to just incorporate it as part of your culture, and it's good for your staff. It's good for your soul. I know that's cheesy, but it's not. It really is good for your soul, and it makes our community stronger. And I would anybody ever is looking for a way to give back or get involved. You reach out to me. I promise you, I'll pull you into something. And I don't care if you're a competitor, whatever, we're all in this together, and we all should be making a difference. That's our responsibility as people living in a pretty good place at a pretty good time.
All right, can you read that one?
This is what I'm asking you.
Hmm.
So, Sarah, what movie have you seen multiple times? Well,
Oh,
that's
I've already answered that one. You're gonna have to look at
I'm
past
gonna
ones.
say like I don't know, Old School or Saving Private Ryan. I'm kind of all over the spectrum. You didn't ask me. What advice would you give your younger self?
Chill the f out.
That's I think I share that. Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
think
good.
that's all that needs to be said on that one.
Well, there you go. Geez, see, you're a very different interviewee than I am. You just said it and it was done. For me, I've got to bloviate for 15, 20 minutes each question.
I used to be paid by the hour in pretty much
For what, Sarah?
words.
Wait, what are we talking
Oh
about?
no, I'm not the interviewee anymore. All right. Have you ever screamed in terror only to find out that it was really nothing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, screamed in terror. I don't, Lucky there wasn't recording there. I think one that I can remember clearly is I was sitting with my kids in my old house, my last house, and we're watching TV in my room one night, and saw something scuttling across the floor, and it turns out it was a bat, like walking, like with the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm pretty confident I screamed like a girl that night. Yep. So we had to get the bat. Turned out we had bats in the attic as well. Had to do a whole thing. It was, if you see one bat, you have more than one bat. So that's what I learned in going through that bat process. But yeah, that I probably screamed like a girl then.
Yeah, yeah.
There's probably other times, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going to break down 50 times that
No,
I screamed
no,
like
no.
a girl.
No,
That's probably not going to be good for me.
that's perfectly all right.
Thank you.
Well, you are for and this is going to sound extraordinarily cheesy, Matt, but you are very inspiring, and
Mm.
for me, I think you're just fantastic.
Well,
And I don't say that a lot about a lot of people.
I hope you at least say it to all your interviewees, because now it's going to be pretty awkward if you don't.
I know it is, but if I start, then it dilutes it. So
I haven't seen all of them. I've got to go back. I want to see. I've watched some of yours start to finish. Some I've seen bits, but there's some like I got to see. I haven't seen the Jer Man, who's one of my close buddies. I was talking to him right before I walked in, so I want to see that one. Kenny, I'd like to see Kenny and his take. He can talk a little bit too.
Oh, I found that most of the interviewees that can talk
Yeah.
can talk.
Yeah, I know. See, you just give us a platform. We could sit here for hours.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I might make you come back next. No, I'm kidding. Next, we can finish everything up. But we've got a few more minutes, so I want to open the floor to you. I know we really we got some deep dives into community opportunities and things that you do. But if there's anything else you would like to discuss or bring up or give
Well,
shout outs to.
Well, I mean, I did hit on, but just as a reminder, if you need help with food or you know somebody who does, every Monday, Woodside Bible Church right here at Canterbury Village. I'd recommend you get there closer to 8, but about 9 or a little after, we start filling cars, and that's free, no questions asked. The shoe drive, this will probably be a little too early for. I've got right now, if you live in the community and you watch the fireworks, please jump on and donate. Trying to rally that. It's a community effort, and we have one of the best fireworks show in the country. We've been rated that, and but it's a grassroots effort. So if you get to enjoy them, even if it's just a few bucks, every bit helps. So I'd appreciate that. You can follow my Facebook, and you can see where to donate. Greg Rogers, if you go to his Facebook, he's sharing it every day. Real Men Wear Pink's coming up, so mark your calendars. We haven't quite, I kind of set the date for a huge kickoff. We're bringing, I think I'll share it. We're going to bring Boobs, Tubes, and Dudes back, so that we did 2 years ago at Greens Park.
Mhm.
This year we're going to move it to Tommy's Lake because we can do a little bit more there.
Mhm.
We're going to have a bar. We're going to have live music. It's going to be a fun day. Raising money to help those fighting breast cancer. But one of my mantras when it comes to charity is that it's got to be fun.
Mhm.
I used to do a lot of the sponsorships where you sit and you're at a banquet and you get up and wave, or get up and say a few words at the podium. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not my kind of charity. If you're coming to my stuff, we're probably gonna have a cocktail. We're probably gonna be dancing, singing, laughing, and to me, that's kind of where the magic happens, because you really connect to people, and it's not a chore. So when you're spending money, you're donating, but you're also having a ball. And so keep an eye out for the Real Men Wear Pink, Real Men of Orion. This year, there'll be 5 of us, so we're going to have to raise more money. We're going to be doing some fun things, so we've got some shenanigans planned. Great team, Jordan Knudsen, Garrett Hoffman, Ryan Mansfield's joined us this year, as well as John Carson. So there's going to be a lot of music and fun mixed into this year.
Wonderful. I'll post. I'll get that information from you, and I'll post it with this podcast.
Yeah, it's a little early for that. We're still working details, but I'll give you the basics, and we will be putting together a volunteer committee. We've got volunteers for that, and that's a lot of fun too, because and they all hang out at our support our local establishment and stuff. And chat about it.
I suppose not. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for being on, and we will see you guys about town. Have a good one.